Hello, hey, how you guys doing today? How you guys today? God bless you, man. Got a topic for you guys today I want to share with you, if I may. The topic is, if you will, God, Ezekiel the prophet put life back into dry bones. Real life story. Ezekiel put life into dry bones. And God bless you guys, by the way. Hope you had a great day. Uh, it was a pleasant day here. Tennessee, but hope you guys had a great day. You enjoyed your day, and now you're relaxed. I'm kind of on the late here. Thought I'd come on late. I wasn't sleepy, so I thought I'd come on and tell you about the prophet Ezekiel and them dry bones, baby. Tell you what was going on with them dry bones. I did a little image on it on a video, just to kind of give you a visual in a short video. Just to kind of give you a visit. This was a mass army of dry bones, but what he did when Ezekiel brought him back to life, baby. God had brought him to a valley, and God told him, Ezekiel, I need you to speak to them dry bones, baby. And he spoke to them, and they said the bones got to rattling. They got to rattling, and the sinew got to growing back. The tendons got to growing back on the bones and the skin, and all this stuff started the things that the body needs to begin to grow, but it didn't move. It just all the stuff just grew back. It was just a body there on the ground. You see what I'm saying? And that was supposed to be a symbol, if you will, of a hopeless Israel, cut off Israel, Israel who didn't feel like they was just cut off. That's what that was all about. And for that part there to happen, the bones body just start bones rattling and skin and sinew and all this is just growing back together on the bones. It's an amazing story. I mean, just to see that power of Papa. This oh man, it just boy, that's an amazing story. To me, it is, and man, it just I mean to see that in person, when I can only see it in my imagination, as bones begin to rattle, and that, oh man, it just seemed like it was been an amazing thing to see. If it didn't scare you half life, but that's something. That's something. I bet it was a. But what that was all about, yeah, Ezekiel. I mean, the prophet was. They had went into Babylonian exile. All they had been caught by a country and the Babylonians, and they had been called, and Ezekiel was among the first group that had been, they had caught them and caught the whole population and brought them back, and they were just hopeless and stuff. But God gave them some good, good. I mean, they gave some good hope and understanding of the breath of life. They call it ruach. Ruach. That's a Hebrew terminology for the breath of life, and that's the second part of the story. That it means that after he brought at the bones to come together, and did this, put this thing together, these bones and everything came together, the skin and the tendons and muscles and everything that the body needs. He brought it back to its original. Then he blew in that the breath of ruach. The Hebrew term means the breath of life, baby. And then there was a vast army of living dry bones brought back to life by our Heavenly Father, Papa. That's that power, man. This is that power, and then what the bones itself, just the body, just coming together and everything. What that represented, let me see if I wrote that down here. That represented, like Israel, there is hope. There's hope for you. They gave it. Ezekiel had a prophet, a warning against them that was going to a life of destruction, but then he had pinpointed around and he had told me it was a life of hope for him. And I'm supposedly after he had had this encounter, because God had woke them bones up. Ezekiel was the vessel that Papa used to wake them bones up. Uh, in that the state they was in. It's a valley of all this kind of massive this dry bones, and they just came together. But number one, what that meant was, let's see, let me get to number one. So when let's read here. I'm trying to get it together here on this one. Yeah, so when the body came to life, what it represented was the external. And when the body was just bones and everything, before he breathed in that ruach, the body was just, the body was just, you know, it's the restoration of life. It's, in other words, I'm going, God, Papa is saying to Israel, I'm going to, through that example, that symbolic example, when the symbolic example is a real life story. But through that, he was letting the guys know, letting the children know of Israel that he's going to restore back to them Jerusalem, I think. And also, just the bones itself, before it became life, he was letting, that was the inside, that was the, the breath of life is inside, so that's eternal, it's inside, then the outside stuff where the bones came back to, start putting itself back together and the tendons and skin started to grow on, that's the uh, external, the outward part of the body. See, God restoring the outward and the inner. And then also, Papa had promised him he's going to put his spirit back in him. Now, when them bones came alive, it said Ezekiel had called for 4 winds to come, that Ruach wind, and that's what brought them bones back to life. Ezekiel had spoke to the winds, 4 winds of the corner, and it brought them bones back to life. And that's how the bones got back to life. And number two, we talked about the breath of life, the Ruach, which can mean breath, wind, spirit. That's what Ruach can mean, the meaning of eternal transformation. It was an eternal transformation for Israel. And God wasn't just giving them their land back. He was promised them to put his spirit. He was going to put his spirit within them so they would know him. They had to get them, and that's what we have to do today. And that was amazing. He put the spirit in us where we can get to know him. That's the only way you can get to know Papa. You got to put that spirit in you to where he can have somewhere to connect to you and stuff. So this suggests that the true strength and purpose come from the spiritual life God provides, not the physical presence. Its purpose comes from the suggest this what we just talked about. It suggests this is the summary of it that the strength, the true strength, and the purpose come from the spirit, as it do today is over there in Romans chapter 8, to be led by the Spirit of God. Hey, how y'all doing, sir? How you doing? You gotta to be led by the Spirit. You up too? I am up too. I couldn't sleep. And this is the story about the valley of the dry bones that God and the prophet Ezekiel himself had put life back into them dry bones. The bones, it was just, it probably was an amazing thing to see if you could only have been there. It would have been, oh man, this is an actual event recorded in document papers that these bones were brought back to life, and the 4 winds came from the corner and breathed into those bones. The Ruach, Hebrew word, which means a breath of life, spirit, wind. So that's what happened in that case there. So Israel did get restored, and also God was with them when he put the spirit of life back into them. We had some talking points here. We're going to try to go to see if we can get to some of them. We're going to be on here too long. We ain't been on it too long, though. So that was the story of dry bones. Hopefully I was able to get that to you. It didn't take as long as I thought it would. It's some pretty good notes, I suppose. And let's see, Babylonian. Uh, what the demonstration was of some talking points. Uh, if no matter what it looked like, how dead your situation is, God has the power to bring it back to life. Agreed upon? God has the power. Do we agree to agree? God has the power, no matter how dead one's situation is, God has the power. You know, where you have some type of problem, family have some kind of problem, it seems like there's no hope. Maybe some bills, piling up. You seem like he's dug a hole for yourself. There's a number of problems that may occur that sometimes get us out of whack, or we feel like we can't control it because of the anxiousness in our body, if you know what I'm saying. So these are the things what the spirit of life does. God got the power to solve these problems. That's the main thing for us today. You know, he got this is like he put life back into us while we still alive. That was just a story of dry bones, but we're dead sometimes when we feel like we have nowhere to turn to or nowhere to go. So what God does through hope and faith, He come in. If you have it now, uh, I always have to make the difference. These are for the children of God that have it, because they have a relationship with God. Then they have that hope to be able to wake up that day. There's hope for that dead situation in your life. Now, for the world, the same hope is for you, and you will receive grace and mercy. But to be sure of it, you always, if you have not decided to come to know who Jesus is, uh, to where you can receive these favorable blessings uh, by just asking for it. You're sort of like in limbo. You're under grace and mercy, and that's good. We all under that, but we also are under obedience law as well too, to where we are obedient to Father, and He finds favor. I think it's over in Hebrew. It says God is a rewarder for those who diligently seek Him. So that's where, so we do make the difference, but it's still hope for the world. I was in the world once. A lot of people everybody's in the church has been in the world at one time, for the most part, as far as I know. Everybody, according to Romans chapter 3:23, whether big sin, little sin, small, whatever, everybody fell short of the glory of God. Jesus was the only one that could live a perfect life that Papa was well pleased with. He was well pleased with his son, well pleased with his son. Of course, the way you understand that story, but way I try to understand is to understand the love that Papa had for his son, and it's nothing I could imagine with the kind of love he had for his son, because he is love. Yeah, if it wasn't him, it wouldn't be a love. So you can imagine the kind of love he sacrificed, if you will, or he departed with, Papa did, for his son to uh, uh, be a sacrifice on the cross for our sins. You understand? And we thank him for that. Without that, it wouldn't have been possible. So people thinking about it, it's only I can tell you. Hopefully, you make the right choice. It's the best choice you ever make in life. It will be some discouragement. It will be some persecution. And just to be honest with you, it will be some situation where you feel like this is the right choice. The devil do the right thing. So that's why I look a little bit like it does. I'm just giving you a heads up. But if you just stick with it and stay with it, the wall, get you a good Bible, get some good friends, and make your conversation good and wholesome from time to time. Mention the Lord's name outwardly and mention a lot in your heart, and maybe that will start you on your path, even when you get discouraged to continue to do these things. Just a suggestion, Because some people stick and some people don't, but some people do come back. That's just the honest truth. I was one myself. That's just the honest truth. And I ain't saying other. I think other people have done. I've done it. Just to be honest, be transparent with you. But I'm here to stay. Now I'm stuck like glue, like JB Well. Glue is supposed to be some of the best glue. JB Well. I'm not going nowhere. It's it was a good run. Uh, well, it wasn't a good run when I was running. Man, it was. I thought it was, but he was waiting on me at the finish line. I didn't make it to the finish line, but we get some story about that running from God. Maybe you'll see that one of these days in the archives for the new listeners. Maybe you'll see it. Oh yeah, I always want to thank our new subscribers and thank all my subscribers. We finally got the Ko-Fi set up. I didn't realize I didn't have it uh, live. They let you set it up like a format. I'm thinking it was. I had it. Everything was good, but then I just took a few hours tonight to run through it. So we got that up and rolling. Still a few little glitches here and there, but we'll figure those out as we go, right? But we up in for comments. Just, have a little knobby conversation, chit chat about some of the endeavors. Get to know one another. Maybe leave some comments and messages. I'm able to see those now. So I wasn't ignoring you on purpose. I just wasn't set up like I thought it was. So that's KO-FI. You'll find it on YouTube page. I also have that link on Instagram page, but that's a problem for now. We got to figure the Instagram page out. Maybe they can run over to YouTube and link in from there. Because KOFI is on the YouTube page word wise. You just touch it and it take you right to Ko-Fi. So that's how that works. And hopefully we'll get to know one another. And man, this be a blessing to one another. You know what I'm saying? This be a blessing to one another. Man, I always say judgment start in the house of the Lord, so blessing start in the house of the Lord. And it just goes outwardly, It seems that's how it should be. People needing help inside the house. Hopefully that's what that's what we will be able to do with a lot of cooperation and some good organization of love. People that love to be in position, they love their positions. Uh, Not from a church point of view, but just from an outside organization, maybe like a point of view, organizing like that. That's what I'm mostly like, sort of hands on. But who knows? We'll see how it goes. Hopefully, you guys will stop by for a little conversation, get to know one another, and get some nice. I think it's nice little, somewhat of a web page. Did the best we could do on it, so hopefully you enjoy some of the things in it. Uh, yeah, but that was it. This is a lot of story we want to do on that. Dry bones. God put life back into bones there, and yeah, he sure they go, hey, boss man, I go, yeah, boss man. That was sleepy this time. He want to smoke. We gonna let him talk. He did good. He did good. Finally woke up. He finally woke up out that sleep, man. He had something to say, So good job, sleep. We call him sleepy. Good job, sleepy. And yeah, good job there. Good job, sleepy. You did a great job there. Yeah. But we gonna get on over here. Yeah, guys, I appreciate you guys listening to me, man. As always, I'm not gonna be on long. Yeah, yeah, okay, Silas True. Wait, a small YouTube. I got you. Okay. I think I might see you, in my, I see you in my, you're a subscriber. I think I do see you. I think I'm on your page, man. I think I'm subscribed. Am I subscribed to you? I think I am. I remember that name. It seems like I do remember that name, Sally's True. Yeah. But I'm a pretty good rival YouTuber. Okay, rival. Right. I'm sorry. I'm talking to one of the things. We about wrapped it up, though, guys. You guys have a good night. Appreciate you listening to me. Didn't mean to take up too much of your time, about 20 minutes. I just want to do that story about the, what we discussed previously, and hopefully you got something out of it. It simply means that God can, the summary for us is that any dead situation in our life, and with the Spirit of God that leads us, that situation won't be dead too long. And God will put life back into that situation. Everything obey Papa, from diseases, business wise, finances, social, food, everything obeys God. You understand? And God maneuvers through people, so you never know. Don't never look at your situation as resigned, or it's not gonna be favorable to you. Because with Pop on your side, I'm sure you come out okay on the situation. As I think one of my old my brother George Carr used to tell me, he said he'd never seen a righteous begging for bread. That's what he would always tell me. And I found that to be true. You guys have a good night, man. I'm gonna look you up on my subscriber, and I think you are on my subscriber. You have a good night, Mr. Salis True. Mr. Salis True, G10. So I'm gonna look you up, man. But hey, take care. Y'all have a blessed night, man, and look forward to learning and growing together with you guys. We can all learn from one another. As they say, steel sharpens steel, baby. You have a good night.